everybody? It's your boy Stephen J, and I'm here with Simply Steve, or Steve number one Steve, and we're talking about wrestling, WWE, WWF, WCW, WWF, AWA, ECW, maybe a little TNA, Lucha Underground, NXT, Breaking Ground. Talk a little bit of all of it about what's going on in the world of wrestling. So we just got finished, last week? TLC last week, and we're going to talk about that. But shocking, what I found out, I read this week on Bleacher Report, it said that the ratings were like so bad the last 3 months that when everyone found out that Vince McMahon was going to be on Raw, the ratings jumped up, and it's its best that it's ever been in a while, in 3 months. So, and the last time I guess it sucked, the ratings, was when The Rock made an appearance and the ratings skyrocketed. So Vince McMahon and The Rock obviously have that drawing power to get ratings up. But I was actually quite shocked that the ratings been, I don't really pay it, ever since WCW went under, nobody really follows the ratings anymore. I remember during the Monday Night Wars, every Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was, I was looking online to see the ratings. Was it a 3.1 versus 3.0 or 3.1 versus a 1 point something or whatever, who's leading this week or whatever. But, I mean, 3 months ago, has WWE really been that bad is the question. Have they been that bad?
Well, they haven't been exciting. There hasn't been nothing to be excited about. I mean, they kept doing this whole thing pretty much every week, every month. Roman's gonna get the title, he's gonna do it, and then you screw him out again, and it just gets old, and we just don't care anymore. And you know, all the interesting people, John Cena, he's on his break. Brock Lesnar's on his break. Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, they're hurt. So,
That's much better.
Dolph Ziggler isn't as exciting as he used to be, but his matches are still good.
Remind me Dolph Ziggler and HBK real quick after that. So when did John Cena go on vacation?
After Hell in a Cell.
That was how many months ago?
2 months ago.
So the ratings were bad even with Cena's there. Have they gotten worse because Cena's been gone? No, I personally, after every pay-per-view, I always tweeted and I kept saying, I'm just glad John Cena's not in it because I'm tired of the same old thing. But obviously the fans haven't been watching, and I think there's a few things that kind of contributed to that. One, like he said, Roman Reigns just getting there and not getting it in. Seth Rollins, here's what I liked about Seth Rollins. He was a good champion. He always got beat up, but then the next day he come out and act like he didn't get beat up at all. Oh yeah, no, you cheated or whatever. But he got hurt. But I think that contributed to the fact that you had Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Okay, that was pretty good. You had Seth Rollins and Kane. Who was it before that? Seth Rollins and Sting. And Seth Rollins and Cena. I mean, number one, when Cena came out and challenged Seth Rollins, nobody wanted to see that. Everybody was like, boo, boo. Everybody was bored because, everyone thought John Cena was going to win the title. But again, nobody wanted to see that happen. Then it was Sting.
I say it's just the inevitable because we all know it's all the inevitable because Cena will win his 16th.
Yeah, he's going to get it.
And possibly 17th.
He's going to get it, but who wants to see that anyway? Cena still sucks. Then you had Seth and Kane. Not really, and Kane wasn't going to win the title, so that was just full of baloney.
First of all, especially if Sting didn't win, why would Kane win?
Right. Then Sting doesn't win at all, which I actually thought Sting was going to win, but 2 losses already.
His career might be over.
He's at neck surgery. What else? Then Seth and Roman Reigns back again, where apparently Roman's was supposed to win and beat him, but Seth got hurt, so then they had to put this whole thing in there with Sheamus. And for the most part, it's just not selling for me. I also think that what contributed to the factor is that you have a great guy in Bray Wyatt, and they are still treating him like Cactus Jack. How WCW treated Mick Foley, how the WWE treated Mick Foley when he first got in there. He's great for the mic, he's great for the camera, but all we really want to see him is bruising and stuff like that. I think they finally got it right by putting him back together with the Wyatt family. That's just great. But the fact that he hasn't had a title yet, and you mean to tell me Kevin Owens deserves a title before Bray Wyatt? I have such a big problem, and I like Kevin Owens, and I don't like Kevin Owens, but I don't think he deserves a title before Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was giving us matches, great matches with John Cena, okay matches. Didn't he face Punk? No?
Yeah, he did face Punk.
He faced Punk. His match was Dolph Ziggler. His match with Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan. So his matches was like, okay, who we gonna throw at him next? So they just kind of like pushed him aside, and it just got stupid after a while. But now the Wyatt family is back, and I really like the feud that they're having with ECW guys, which I kind of like that. You can't, and a lot of people are saying that's the end of it since they beat him last week. I think that's not the way you end a feud. Well, it always goes in the cage.
I heard Tommy Dreamer's done on TV, so who are they going to find to fill the spot?
Well, I mean, there's a couple guys they can probably go out and get, but I mean, Tommy Dreamer, I know he owns his own wrestling thing out of New York City that he's doing, but please. I'm sure he's getting low six figures from WWE for the TV appearance that he's doing, but I mean, and Rhino, was good to see him back or whatever, and a lot of things that you want to see certain guys go at it, like when it was on the Fatal 4-Way, and you had Rhino and Roman Reigns in a ring at the same time. Rhino has the gore, Roman Reigns has a spear. Everybody wanted to see who had that. Everyone stood up like that's the match. If you think about years ago when Mabel and The Undertaker went at it, when Hogan and Andre went at it, when Rock and Hogan went at it, when all these guys, yeah, this is what we waited for. Matter of fact, a couple years ago, when the Wyatt family got into the ring with the Shield, everyone stood up. Oh, this is what we want to happen.
Everybody was kind of cheering when the League of Nations said they was the best four-man group, and then the Wyatts got into the ring. It wasn't as loud as when it was the Shield, but they were kind of excited about it. They were like, yeah, that's what we want to see.
So and then they didn't let it happen. So it's like, okay, let's tease them, but we're not going. And I go back to a couple years ago when it was like choose your own match night or whatever, and I think everyone wanted to see Evan Bourne and Sin Cara, I think it was, and then they chose somebody else, and then everyone came out. Then the match came out, and everybody was like, "Boy, this is not what we asked for. What are you talking about?" And then that's how you know it's that part right there wasn't. It's not legit, because then the next Monday they came out and we're gonna give you the match that everybody wanted and stuff like that. Evan Bourne versus Sin Cara, or was it Evan Bourne and Rey Mysterio, whatever. But I wanted Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio to go at it, but they did. So matches that we want to see them go at, it just not happen. So that is a factor. I think another factor is Dolph Ziggler. You kind of like, ever since
this time last year, he was on top.
The Survivor Series, he was on a roll. It was all DZ was the next DB, and after the Survivor Series, I thought he was going to go to WrestleMania. I would have loved to see him and Brock go at it or whatever, but it didn't happen. They put him in a couple matches, and they kind of like played with it with him and Daniel Bryan, and he just didn't get the push that I thought that he deserved. And now he's just like falling by the wayside. Now they got him feuding with Prince Pretty. First of all, again, I'm taking credit because I called him that before he was known as Prince Pretty, only because I couldn't think of his name. So I said Prince Pretty because he came out with the mirror and the selfie stick and whatever, stuff like that. But I don't like what they're doing with Dolph, and I think the fans are saying they don't like what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler, because I watched the Stone Cold Shawn Michaels interview, which was actually pretty interesting, I might say, because his last interview, who did he interview? Because it was just a horrible interview. So I'm sorry, Stone Cold. We want to hear stuff like, oh man, that people don't know. We don't care about Paige.
I don't think it was Paige. I think it was Brock.
Brock, interesting, but again, it wasn't a good interview because you're not really telling me anything. And you can tell Stone Cold Sulking. I mean, we're going out there, and a lot of time I've been down to it. We got to get together so we can go shooting some butts and stuff like that. I know you like being secluded in the woods and stuff, and with no civilization and stuff like that. So we got to get together one day and we got to shoot. It was interesting to see Brock talk, but they didn't really talk about anything. But Shawn Michaels' interview was pretty good, talking about the screw job, but he mentions Dolph Ziggler. Shawn Michaels did, and he says he loves Dolph Ziggler, and a lot of Dolph Ziggler moves are like Shawn Michaels moves. And he said he told Dolph, you keep copying me, but I think you have it within yourself to branch out from me and be your own self. And he was like, it's okay when guys come out and they start doing stuff. And he was like, when he came in, he was like, everybody was saying he was going to be the next this. And then he was like, that's great. But then I had to find my own thing. Because I remember he talked about, I used to love when Shawn Michaels did the bionic elbow off the top of the rope. That was hot. That was, even though it was Randy Savage's move, Shawn Michaels was doing that as well. And then, you know, it's funny how he came up with the super kick thanks to Pat Patterson and whatever. But the fact is, he said that Dolph Ziggler needs to stop imitating him, and basically, and I totally agree with that. I don't want to see DZ go heel. I don't think he's ready to go heel yet.
He's
But
not drawing anything as a face. I think the only thing he can do is go heel.
nah,
And
but
I
he's
think
been
his perfect opportunity was when that open challenge where he faced Cena and he lost, and I think that was around the same time that the news kind of broke that, you know, what do you call it? That Lana and Rusev were getting married, and they kind of played it into the storyline a little bit, like
yeah,
Dolph,
that was like stupid, like
how Dolph was kind of like mad, like, oh, they're getting engaged now. Oh, okay, well, and then he lost to Cena that same night, and he's like, that would have been the perfect time for him to go heel, because then he could have. It would have been perfect, but they didn't.
I don't know if I want to see. I liked his run in 2014 last year, even into the beginning of this year. Dolph is still putting on some really good matches. I think Cesaro caught him a little bit and surpassed him, but unfortunately he got injured, which is unfortunate. But so you got like Randy Orton's out, Cesaro's out, John Cena's out. Who else is out? Maybe we need to get CM Punk back.
And what you need to do is they need to clear Daniel Bryan, because from what I've heard, all his doctors are saying he's good to go, but because he's had a lot of concussions, the WWE doctors don't want to clear him.
I wouldn't want to clear him either. That's a big time lawsuit. I kind of agree with the WWE on that part, as far as like, look, I heard that they want him to change his wrestling style, but he doesn't. And first of all, when Daniel Bryan came into WWE, his wrestling style isn't what it is now.
His wrestling style, what it is now, is popular.
I understand that that's popular, but when he first came in, when he was with NXT and he's with Nexus and stuff like that, and when he came back, that wasn't his wrestling style. Was more of Taz. It was more of a submission style wrestling, which it was still pretty good and interesting to see. But all the other stuff like that is just, again, if he agrees to just go back to Daniel Bryan 1.1 or whatever, he still do the yes thing, and you still have like 3 people in the arena still doing yes and stuff like that. But I wouldn't take that chance either if I'm WWE, because you let him in the ring and this, that, and the other. Nah, I wouldn't take that opportunity. So DB is still out. So you got a lot of guys out. But see, here's my thing. With all of those guys being out, it gives a perfect opportunity for other guys to step up. When Triple H, in the last, not to the Lex Pass pay-per-view, when Sheamus beat Roman Reigns after he won the title and stuff like that, I really thought that Dean Ambrose, I think everybody thought Dean Ambrose was going to go heel and turn. That would have been perfect, because Dean, I mean, you had to give him a title, but his character, the Roddy Piper, the Reckless, what do they call him? The Lunatic Fringe and all that stuff like that, that could only play so much. And it worked well when it was Seth Rollins, and I'm interested to see the feud between him and Kevin Owens. I'm glad he beat Kevin Owens, but again, I go back to what I said earlier. Does Kevin Owens really deserve a title before Bray Wyatt? No. at least give the Wyatt family a tag team title, and they can do like what New Day is doing, and where it's whoever's tagging that day is going to be the champion or whatever, or Intercontinental or whatever. But I think Bray Wyatt deserves the title based on what
Intercontinental title?
Intercontinental title. Who's the Intercontinental champion right now? Dean Ambrose. Nah, not yet. I want to see him and Kevin Owens.
Well, then they would have to. Would have to beat Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, I mean, hey, somebody was going.
Like you said, knock off the New Day.
I could see that as well. So what else? So talking about TLC, the match of the night definitely was, they stole the show, was a tag team championship match between New Day, the Usos, Lucha Dragons, and Triple Threat. And that was just, they stole the show. I said it when I was sitting there watching. I was like, yo, they stole the show. And I keep harping back on what Triple H and Shawn Michaels said years ago during the Monday Night Wars. When somebody went out there and they just stole the show, they had a great match, everybody in the locker room was like, oh, we got to top that, we got to top that. And who came after them?
It was Ryback and Russo.
Horrible match. Not that good at all. Ryback did something to somebody. He held the title for one day, and he lost to Kevin Owens. And it wasn't like Owens cheated. It was just like, oh, that don't count.
Well, I've said this on my own channel, but I said
on your own show. What is the name of your show? What's the name of your show?
I haven't come up with it.
What?
I haven't come up with a name yet.
He hasn't come up with a name show yet. On his show, he's called Number One Steve. Is that what your name is?
Number One Steve.
Number One Steve. He's simply Steve here, y'all. And he's still working. I just like to point that out. He's working. He's still at Publix. So if you guys want an autograph, go down to Publix and ask for Simply Steve, and he will give you an autograph. Simply Steve, y'all, and sign that. So, but he is looking for work because Publix is treating him wrong. They don't want him to work. They make him work like one day a week, y'all, and stuff like that. Publix, man. Trash. Yeah, I'm talking about Publix on national TV, on the internet, the World Wide Web, whatever we doing, we talking about that. So, what was you saying? He talked about it on his show. He's in his bedroom, y'all. Butt naked in his bedroom doing a wrestling show. Why are you butt naked in your wrestling show?
I'm not.
You just got your drawers on?
I'm fully clothed.
You fully clothed?
You know what?
You got your shirt on or shirt off?
What I said on my show was, ever since 2012, when Ryback did not win the WWE title from Punk at the Hell in a Cell, he's lost his credibility. He hasn't been the same, especially since he turned heel in 2013 when he was feuding with Cena. He's just,
that was all stupid. They did him wrong.
He just lost his mojo. And yeah, he came back with the Feed Me More, and they still chanted along with him. But
he actually had a nice run. A little bit.
His first run.
No.
When he turned his face again?
Yeah, his second, what they did wrong with Ryback